Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto was neglected and lost everything. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Became the God of Lightning over on Anime King. And enjoy that guys, and stay tuned for a new episode coming over on Anime King 3 for you guys to enjoy. And if you're new, yes, you heard that correctly, I indeed have 3 channels. Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off. As Naruto was currently standing in the rain, the 3 rain ninjas had caught up to them. As one of them was yanked towards Naruto, as Naruto slashed the man in half with a righteous blade. The other 2 froze in shock before they retreated. They didn't know who the hell this person was, but it was said that the person that wielded the righteous blade was an unstoppable foe. And not to mention he had this strange gravitational pull to yank someone towards him without even raising that finger. So they weren't gonna risk it, as Kozo was the one that did yank him. As Naruto decided to check on something, as he realized when he was low on chakra he could enter his mindscape. That is where he entered and he saw a door. Naruto entered a memory seal. He didn't know what the hell was going on, but he started seeing memories of Jiraiya and Sir Toby holding down the nine-tailed fox. Sir Toby using a giant monkey, and Gamabunta was there as well, the giant toad. And Minato was there as well, as Jiraiya was drawing the seal on Naruto's arm. Naruto wondered how he never remembered this, as he realized that his memory had been sealed away. Someone sealed away some of his memories. The next thing he saw was him and his little sister Katsumi. As he saw her crying before she reacted violently, red chakra oozed out of her body, destroying the crib, blowing Naruto back. As his wounds started to heal rapidly by the blue chakra. It was that scene Kushina came in on. She never saw the red chakra coming from Katsumi, as she told Naruto to get out of here, that he should leave. As Naruto staggered back, those memories, it actually woke Naruto before he could dive deeper. As everyone got ready, they head back to the village, because they had to get Ibiki back because he was in a bad condition, despite Naruto already making sure the wounds wouldn't kill him. So with that, they headed back to the village, as it was met in silence, as Naruto seemed rather angry after giving the report. As with that, he headed off. He made his way towards the compound. He screamed as he was in Tobirama private studies. Naruto ended up activating a Fuinjutsu space-time seal, as he was teleported to somewhere else. Underground spacious passageway, where he saw a notebook from the second. As he read through it, the man had been through a lot. He had been under the shadow of his brother. He had been in the darkness and helped his brother in the light. People compare Naruto and the second a lot, and the both of them seem to have the same mentality, the same mindscape. With that, 2 years pass, as Naruto has been training the kids. Katsumi has been getting rather angry lately because he wouldn't come over for dinner, at least try to patch things up with her parents, as she wanted an older brother like him. And he barely spent time fighting with her like the others. He would just end the fight rather quickly, and he seems to just be avoiding her in total. Uncle came as she told Naruto that they could celebrate their birthday on the 17th. Given that Naruto never liked celebrating his birthday on the 10th, and not to mention Uncle was going to be out of the village on her birthday, they celebrate the birthday on the 17th, as Naruto just turned 14 years old. As Minato planned something, as a Konoha shinobi, Uncle had to go with it. Her job was to keep Naruto in the village, while the Uchihas were dealt with, and Itachi would take the fall for everything. Danzo and his roots were going to be involved, and not to mention the man calling himself Madara Uchiha. that was wearing the mask. Minato was planning a lot. He knew in the future that everything will catch up to him. And what he did to Naruto, especially what he's gonna make Uncle do. Yeah. Naruto is gonna get angry and probably try to kill him in the future, as he's doing a lot of unshady things. At the party, Naruto had placed a chameleon on Itachi. A small chameleon, as you know that Itachi had the habit of just slipping out of places and just leaving. As Uncle created a scene with Ibiki, the both of them broke up there. As both of them were going out, saying that Ibiki was cheating on her. Naruto decided to bring her home as she was a bit drunk. She started to try and seduce him, as she was inviting him in, but he wouldn't do that. As Naruto knew that Itachi liked Uncle, but Uncle told him that Itachi had already made his advances, but she had turned him down. Because all this time he didn't see that she had liked him. Naruto was shocked by that, but he still wouldn't go that. His mind started to change. Unknowing to Naruto, he was being cast under illusion by Shisui's eye that Danzo had. As Danzo was using that famous genjutsu, the Koremasukami, to change Naruto's opinions as he went inside with the uncle. Danzo also had a pregnant Uchiha woman. What he was gonna do with her, no one seemed to know, as he was planning a lot of things behind the scenes as well. The Uchiha clan was eradicated. Yes. Naruto woke up next morning in the bed with Uncle, still shocked to what happened. His mind feeling a bit cloudy as he thought that his mother was gonna kill him, and Itachi was gonna be pissed. Kurenai then came, as she was out of breath, as she told Uncle that Itachi slaughtered his clan. Mikoto and Sasuke were the only one left, because they weren't there. They were at the party. Uncle rushed to the other room, but Naruto was already gone. Itachi was waiting for Naruto at the Valley of the End, as the chameleon poofed away that Itachi had and Naruto appeared. As Naruto was furious, he screamed to Itachi and asked him why. Itachi, with his best blank imitation, told him that he did to test his power. As Naruto looked at him with eyes filled with nothing but rage. So yeah guys, it was basically a split off. You guys can switch across the place and shit over yourself. So it's the beginning of this new episode. To test my strength, to awaken my blood, to prove that hatred is stronger than love. Come on Senju, fight me, and I will prove to you that Uchiha Madara's strength has passed down to a worthy vessel. He didn't just say that, Naruto thought to himself, as he thought that he might be hallucinating or something. As he looked at Itachi, Itachi had on a same armor that Madara Uchiha had worn. It was custom made. Was he trying to reenact the battle between the Uchiha and Senju? You're lying, said Naruto, as he didn't believe Itachi one bit. Itachi wouldn't do this. Itachi did not answer. He unsheathed his blade. It was a thin ninjato. You want to know something funny, Naruto? Itachi whispered. Is Sharingan activated? I once thought that our relationship, or friendship, would be something eternal. A pity. 2 years was all it took to forget about you and have Shisui become my new best friend, who I killed. As Naruto got an absolute shocked look on his face, as he just stared at Itachi. As Naruto lowered his head and whispered something, Itachi saw it with his Sharingan, as he could tell that Naruto had a chameleon with him. But which one was it? As he did not know. You promised me that the both of us would reach the top together, said Naruto. Itachi laughed. Promises, promises. Such worthless things. All that matter is strength, Naruto. To reach it, I killed my best friend, and I took his eyes. Soon, you will face that power. But we have spoken enough, Senju, Itachi said. Now, it's time for you to entertain me. Itachi blurred out of sight as he appeared behind Naruto as Naruto pulled his other blade. It was a chakra blade. It was a prolonged kunai with a hilt, with 2 metal curves on the side. Naruto could have used the Raijin Ken, but he could not. That sword was meant for killing, and he didn't want to kill Itachi. As the both blades smashed together, sparks fly everywhere. As Naruto fixed his gaze on Itachi, but not his eyes, never his eyes in a battle. As Naruto jumped backwards as he started to fall off the statue, as Itachi tilted his body to the side, as he avoided a tongue from Ryu, who was the chameleon that Naruto had summoned. Itachi then had to leap as several powerful water bullets struck the stone head of Hoshirama, forcing him to leap away as Naruto was firing them quickly. As Naruto landed right on top of a water dragon that he created, the thing brought him back up as the thing roared and launched itself towards Itachi. It slammed down on the rock surface of the forehead of Hoshirama, soaking Itachi as it dispersed. As Naruto stood there, "Itachi, please, come to your senses," Naruto yelled. Itachi wasted no time as he rushed forward, as Naruto brought his hand up, blocking a vicious right hook to his face. He grabbed Itachi's wrist and flipped him over as Itachi brought his heel down to shatter Naruto's shoulder. But Naruto twisted his body and grabbed Itachi by the shirt and twirled him and threw him off the statue. Itachi flipped as he landed on Madara's statue before shooting forward towards Naruto. Both of their blades clashed violently in mid-air. As they landed on a rushing water surface, they ran down as they clashed their blades together, using their other hand to go through one-handed signs. "You always have less stronger than me, Senju. You won't win with attrition," Itachi said. As they broke apart, Naruto stopped as he landed on the water surface. He could not fight Itachi for real. As his hands shook, Itachi was his friend, since he was a kid who saved him more than enough time that he can even count. How could he find it in himself to fight Itachi after everything? But how could he throw everything like that away in just one single night? He had came to the party. He came without any hatred, no anger. He just came as Itachi, his friend that he knew for so long. Now he wanted to kill him. Naruto finished his last hand sign as he blew out a massive water bullet, Itachi doing the same. The two water bullets clashed, the close impact blowing both of them away. They flip and land on their feet though. "Just tell me the truth, Itachi. Why the hell are you doing this?" So Naruto went to his back as he pulled a summoning scroll. Itachi had to run. The barrage of explosive kunais that came from the scroll was a lot. "Keeping distances won't work, Senju," Itachi said. "I can hit you just fine. Fire style." As Itachi threw shurikens that were imbued with fire chakra, as Naruto twisted and leaped away. Some of them came near him, but they just bounced off his armor, unable to pierce through the metal. As Naruto nodded to himself, or he was nodded to his chameleon. As long as it wasn't blunt force or a strong enhanced chakra attack, his armor could take it. Suddenly, earth bullets shot towards Itachi. The chameleon, who was on top of Madara's statue, launched them towards him. "Summoning jutsu," Itachi said. At Itachi's words, Naruto's eyes narrowed. Ryu had clearly seen what Itachi had summoned, or maybe he could not, because the light water mist from the previous attack had still not dissipated. As Naruto then realized you're using the mist jutsu, well, Itachi had trained with him multiple times. He could have copied any time with his Sharingan. But on the other side, that was his signature technique. Well, not his exactly, but still. "So what?" Itachi said, his voice cold and uncaring. "You betrayed my trust by sleeping with Midarashi, didn't you?" Naruto was shocked, silent, as he couldn't understand how did Itachi know that. Itachi flew off, yes, flew, as he was on a giant eagle, flying straight towards Ryu's location. As Naruto was standing there, how could he have known? It happened last night. It made no sense. Maybe Itachi confessed to Uncle months ago and thought that her reason to refuse him was him, Naruto thought to himself. Naruto unfroze a moment later, but Itachi ordered to throw a set of kunais, explosive kunais around Ryu's location, forcing the chameleon to desummon or to blow to pieces. "Is this what your friendship talk was all about, Senju? Trying to get forgiveness for having betrayed me?" As Itachi's eyes were filled with anger, but Naruto was still not looking at his gaze. "Itachi, she told me that you already confessed to her, and Itachi laughed. His laughter sounded like he had gone mad a long time ago. "Oh joy, she refused me for you. You always got everything, didn't you? The Raijin, the second Hokage armor, the girl of the family, the Kyuubi's power. What did I get? Years of envoy and killing people in the shadow, while you stay in the sun. You played with children, and I toyed with corpses. You laughed, and I got it. You spoke, and I silenced. You got everything that you wished for, and I got nothing. I was a prodigy, the genius. You were just supposed to be the cheater. Well, from a backstabber, what else can I expect? You can't defeat me." "Shut up," Naruto whispered. "You can't even match me. Look at you. So pathetically frail and unable to..." "Shut the hell up, Itachi," Naruto shouted, as he bit his lip, blood dripping down as he wiped it off. "I'll show you, Itachi. I might have cheated in the past, but I kept my end of the deal. Always," as he slammed his hand to the water. "Summoning Shiromori," he said. Itachi's ego was forced to fly backwards, pushed back by a giant fog. A thick fog that seemed to swallow up the entire area. As he saw the giant red eyes, its size rivaled that of a castle. This was the tallest of the chameleon. Well, except for the boss summing. The master called, the servant answers. The whisper came as Naruto heard it. Naruto pointed at Itachi. Let's capture him, Shiromori said Naruto. The chameleon jaw extended before the thing roared. The thing released a water bullet, combined with wind. Itachi's hawk was torn. As the wing was ripped, Itachi was forced to dive. The attack kept on going though, as it ripped right through Madara's statue, tearing through the chest. Susanoo! Itachi screamed as Naruto turned. A massive construct of bones erupted from Itachi, shielding him. The thing was large. The thing slammed right into the chameleon, slamming it down into the ground. Not desummoning, huh? Itachi said. Good. Let me show you the pinnacle of a Uchiha true power, Itachi said. Naruto clenched his teeth as he held onto the chameleon's head. Shiromori, get out of here, he said. The chameleon eyes looked towards the Uchiha. I won't fail another master. The thing roared as the water exploded upwards, slamming into the side of Susanoo, launching the massive construction away from it. As Naruto stood there looking down the chameleon, it has been a year, yet Shiromori had never forgotten his words. It was a reconnaissance mission in Kyubi-no-Kuni. It was a C-rank mission. Naruto was a Chunin, so he took on the mission by himself. They were to find out who was killing travelers along the route, and if possible, put an end to it. After a week of search, Naruto found absolutely nothing. In the end, in a really bad storm, Naruto spent that time in a castle. After all, there was no point of getting wet and uncomfortable outside. Little did he know that it was Shiromori herself, who realized that she couldn't eat him because of the summoning scroll laws. That is how he had freed her from her servitude for more than 50 years to a dead lord, and he earned the respect of the clan summoning boss. It was that Shiromori had been extremely loyal. Out of respect for her previous summoner, she had stayed there. And now, she wasn't going to let the same thing happen to Naruto if she had the power to do anything about it. Itachi, give up, Naruto yelled. You will explain your reasons, whatever they are, and I'll be right there with you. You think you won? Itachi said. Amaterasu! Naruto cursed as he knew that the chameleon would not be summoned as she was too large to be able to evade that. He slammed his hand on her forehead as he forced to send her back to the summoning realm. She'd probably be angry at him later on, but he had to. As he started to fall, the black flames were like they were tracking his location. They were going to meet him to exactly where he was falling. As Naruto pulled another scroll and released it, water exploded out of it and shot him over to the side as he dropped right into the stream of water, avoiding the black flames. This fire will burn until I say so. Come out, or I'll boil you alive. Give me the rematch. Give me the victory that should have been mine in the Chunin exams. Come out, Itachi screamed as the fire was on top of the riverbed, burning as smoke started to leave. Itachi was standing there, unmoving. Blood was oozing from both of his eyes, but that did not stop him as he looked around intensely. Itachi, you slaughtered your clan. Who cares about a rematch when you've fallen so low? Where did your will of fire go? Itachi had to move as explosive rained down on him, wiping out a good portion of the valley. How did the boy manage to get above him? Was there another chameleon around? Or did the boy emerge from the water unseen? The mist was thick, surrounding the lower left of the valley. Itachi stopped the fires of Amaterasu as the riverbed was completely burned out. The sun was barely visible as the steam had blocked it out from their sight. Kira hid the mist jutsu, Itachi said as he looked around. For a normal Sharingan, yes, it would indeed provide hard sight. But for the Mangekyo Sharingan, this won't stop him. Itachi brought his blade up, clash as Naruto clashed with it, appearing out of the smoke. So you're finally coming with the intent to kill me, Itachi said, as the blade was aimed towards his throat. Itachi spun as he delivered a brutal kick to Naruto's stomach. As Naruto burst in a puddle of water. You're near, but where are you? Itachi says he looked around. As Naruto burst right out of the water, as he swung as Itachi ducked right under his strike. Itachi's eyes could see everything at slow motion. He twists as a feet came towards his face. As he twirled and drive his blade right through Naruto, grabbed him as he looked deeply into his eyes. Tsukuyomi, he said, as Naruto was sucked away in a different dimension, a different world, a world that belonged to Itachi, as he was pinned to a cross. This is my Tsukuyomi. Here, I govern time, matter, everything. Here I am a god. This is my strength now, Naruto, you see how strong I've gotten. You're too weak to pose a challenge to me. Maybe I should return to Konoha with these eyes. Even your mom, he said with fury. as he saw Naruto's eyes twist into rage. Might fall right at my feet. Everyone will. And what about the source of our problem, huh? Maybe I should kill Anko as well. Itachi flicked the blades and it sliced right across Naruto's chest. 72 hours. That is how long you will spend here. And you won't be able to escape. At Konoha, obviously she had to screw things up. Only she could have been that stupid to make sure that Naruto was knocked out like a light for the following day. Sure, she hadn't hated to what she had done. The boy had suddenly complied with her request. But she didn't like it either. She was given a simple request to get him away from the Uchiha compound and from Itachi. News of escape for a couple of days. If there was a need to snatch him away for a 3-day sexual marathon, then so be it, but just keep him away. She was a Kunoichi. It was an S-rank mission. No matter how much a thing disgusted her, no matter how she felt repulsive with herself, she had to complete this S-rank mission. The clear warden was there. She would die. Obviously, Kurina had heard the news and dashed straight to our apartment to see if she was okay, to comfort her and probably ask for her help, to tell Naruto to comfort him as well, as he would be the one to take this really hard, as Naruto simply ran. Kitetsu and Izumo should have known to stop him as well, but no, instead she had to watch as Hokage was in front of her. His face was going through several emotions at once: anger, disappointment, and anxiety, and worried as well. If Naruto finds him, Midarashi, if Itachi managed to convince him to follow him, you know that everything would be for nothing, right? Hokage-sama, she said, as she gulped down her fear. She was in his office with the privacy seal activated. The man could kill her right here and hide her body somewhere far away, and be back in seconds with a perfect alibi. I did what I have to. And I'm sure that he will not betray Konoha. Minato's face turned grimmer. At this moment, Itachi should be traveling together with Madara Uchiha. If Naruto actually engage him, then he's gonna die, unless Itachi actually break his cover. But if Itachi does do that, it will just make everything 10 times worse if Naruto finds out. But the situation can still be salvaged. Go with Kakashi Hatake and bring back Naruto Senju. I was told that you can easily sense him, so go and bring him back. As with that, she was gone already. She knew where Kakashi was when things troubled him, as she made her way towards the Konoha cemetery. There he was. Kakashi-san, she said, as Kakashi turned towards her. We have to go. Hokage orders and bring Naruto back. As Kakashi looked towards her sternly. Meanwhile, at the Valley of the End, we still have a couple of minutes, Itachi said, as Naruto was still there. I'm surprised that your mind hasn't already break. But you were always strong-willed, right? Mind, technique, body. Mind, technique, body. Throughout everything, Naruto has been saying this over and over again. Throughout the torture, you think this will help you avoid the pain. No one leave the Tsukuyomi saying it ever again. Mind, technique, body, said Naruto. As he did not look at Itachi, he just kept on repeating those words over and over again. Nothing's gonna work, not even the Kyuubi will help you. You should just surrender, Senju, Itachi said, as Naruto simply looked down. The hidden waterfall training, that was the final form of a chakra control exercise that Tobirama came up with. Mind, technique, and body, that was all that was required for it to work. It was the basis, the principle, and the pinnacle of everything. It had been out of his grasp for so long, but no matter how hard he trained himself in the laboratory of Tobirama, the secret laboratory, he felt like it was simple, but yet he was just not getting it. Weave in your mind the threads of chakra that they were knit, and then push it. That was the first order. The one that Naruto did with his right hand. It was like when he was pushing away the rainwater from him. As he weaved the chakra in his right hand, twirling it and twisting it together. Then, the second order, apply the technique to move the flow, but do not break it. The third step, apply the body to disrupt and merge. And then you will understand. It had taken him time. Days had turned to weeks, and weeks had turned to months. But then finally, he had found the solution. Back in the Tsukuyomi world, the thing shattered and crumbled away. Itachi was shocked. As he was standing there seeing his own reflection, he was encased in ice. Ice that had spawned from Naruto and surrounded him. As Naruto fell on the cold surface, before he slowly stood up, panting a bit. Take that, said Naruto. It always took a lot out of him to do it. The waterfall training served two purposes: to mold two chakra affinity together and create a third one. The control for such a technique was Kage level. That is why it was a complete last step of reaching absolute control for the second Hokage signature genjutsu. This doesn't mean that Naruto unlocked a bloodline. For example, trying this with water and earth, it would not give him the Mokitan ability, but he would spew mud. At the same time, wind and water did not give him the ice bloodline ability, but he was able to combine them and use water below freezing level, and it was perfectly done while he was in the Tsukuyomi. To the normal observer though, it would seem that Naruto just used the ice release bloodline. Suddenly, Naruto felt something strange as the world beside him twirled. A feet planted right in his face, knocked him away. Someone literally ripped open space and time and emerged. As the ice started to melt as Itachi Amaterasu started to burn it. Unpredictability, really. As the man stood there with that twirling, orange mass. As he looked towards Itachi, well, maybe I shouldn't have interrupted, seeing that you got out of there alive. Well, it's time to go, Itachi-kun. It's been half an hour already. I still have to kill him, said Itachi, as he looked like he was about to faint because of chakra exhaustion. Killing is postponed then. And call me Toby. Madara is such an old name. As the man knocked out Itachi and grabbed him. As Naruto tossed a kunai at that same moment, Toby knocked it away with ease. Now, Kyuubi-kun, stay a good boy, okay? We'll be back for you in 4 or 5 years. Until then, be a good boy until we're back. Yeah, he said. And with that, he was sucked away in a swirling vortex, and he was gone. The valley was left empty as Naruto dropped back on the ice platform. The ice was gonna melt soon and he would fall into the water, and he felt so ridiculously weak. As Naruto pulled out a small pill, a chakra pill. As he stood there, he realized that for once he won a battle against Itachi. Basically, so much for your Anvu crap, he thought, as darkness bathed his vision in his mindscape. As Naruto's mind opened up into his mindscape to the fox sleeping in the bed as usual, with the mirror and the door. The door that he promised himself not to open again because he knew what was behind it. All the secret details of his past. All the reasons that he had to hate the Hokage. The reason that he didn't went back was because it hurt. It always hurt. He didn't want to look again because he didn't think that he needed to. He was fine with what he had saw. What need was there to relive pieces of his life that he knew would just hurt him badly? As he stood in front of the mirror, as he could see Anko eyes from the mirror, he saw how far they were, as a seal seemed to have been activated for her to track him. It had taken him out of time to come up with answers to what that seal was. It was a parasite seal, plain and simple. It fed on Anko's chakra to keep the curse mark in check, but it also used the curse seal, nature, through Anko, to enhance the Kunoichi's body, all for the purpose of protecting his mother, namely the blue Kyuubi. And given the fact that Naruto was the Kyuubi host, Anko was protecting him. He had no idea how deeply the seal could influence and disturb the thoughts of Anko and twist them to some degree. But he knew that gets his purpose of keeping Orochimaru curse seal at bay, as he didn't want her to go through that again. Last time, under Orochimaru influence, he nearly lost a shoulder. As Naruto got to his feet, he already lost a brother. He didn't want to lose his past. He got up and kicked the door wide open. As he stepped inside, he was driven right into a memory. You're coming with us. The shinobis seemed to be that of leaf ninjas. But Naruto didn't seem to understand that things were strange because he was just 5 years old. He was rather an ignorant kid. He probably thought that his father convinced his mother to let him back home. It had been just a couple of hours since the incident with his baby sister with that red chakra, and he was kicked out of the apartment. Dad sent you? Said Naruto. It was dark and it was still raining as thunder struck. Yes, Hokage-sama sent us, one of the men said that snarl, as Naruto followed them. But the next moment he was out like a light. As he started to wake up, what use do I have for an insolent brat like that? The voice was angry, filled with disgust and hate. You're just bluffing because we have your brat at kunai point. As a man jerked Naruto's body up as Naruto looked towards his father, who was standing there, as Naruto felt something sharp against his throat. Naruto was confused even though he was scared as well. Why was the shinobis of his father holding him? He was the hero, right? The hero that jailed the Kyuubi. He wouldn't cry because he was told to be strong. Dad, said Naruto. But the man held on to his mouth, stopped him from saying anything. The next thing that Minato said deeply hit Naruto like a rock, just slammed into his face repeatedly, or a mountain just falling on him. Don't call me that, you pathetic excuse of a weapon. Minato snarled. I don't care what happened to you. You are just a defective product. You will never be able to harness the power of the Kyuubi. Your seal is weak. So why should I give a damn about you? Just take it, you hidden stone scum. I just hope the seal break when you reach a hidden stone. Bring it to Oniki and told him that he can keep that thing. The words stung. as he called him it instead of him. Naruto did not understand. Was he no longer a person just because of the Kyuubi? Was he no longer worthy of being his son because he had take the Kyuubi to protect the villagers? Minato turned his back. Oh, and he's no longer my son, so it's not like you get anything worthy out of him, so far as a ransom go. With that, he disappeared. He disappeared, leaving Naruto alone. The stone shinobis dropped Naruto. The seal was weak. They decided to move away from this demon, as Naruto simply sat there, unmoving. No one came for 5 hours. For 5 hours, he stood under the rain, drenched and silent. He just stood there until he blacked out again. In the flashback. That bastard, said Naruto. Naruto's mind was conflicted. His mind felt like there was two parts of him that wanted to take over. A part of him that wanted to be the Hokage, the dream that he wanted to do for as long as he possibly wanted, for people to see that he wasn't disrespectful. Another part of him that felt his knees wobble at the insult, the disrespect that he was given. But he was so tired as he crawled towards the Kyuubi. As he crawled up on her fur, she was soft, really soft. He simply buried his face into her fur and went to sleep. The Kyuubi cracked one eye open as she yawned. Good, you've grown. Maybe later, she said, as she curled her tails up on Naruto. Meanwhile, outside, obviously Kakashi expected some destruction, but what he saw was the obliteration of the valley. Kakashi was shocked and now he was worrying. The face of Madara's statue was the only thing left, as the torso had been blown apart, a massive hole in the chest. The Senju statue had its face all nicked and broken, like something powerful had hit it. The lower level of the valley had been obliterated, which will take a long while for it to fill out. The water level just seemed to be rising back up, as it seemed to have gone very low. Craters and gashes were everywhere. There had been no need for the dogs. Uncle knew where to go, and he had followed. Moment later, Uncle found him, as Naruto was there. He was pale from blood loss and chakra exhaustion, and he was cold, really cold. We should have brought a medic named Kakashi. But Uncle cut him off before he could say anything else as she kissed Naruto. The seal around Uncle's neck pulsed. As Naruto's body started to get refilled, the energy, the chakra flowed into his system. Uncle did not let go of the kiss until he was fully back to normal as she started to get pale as well. Kakashi had to come and split the both of them up. As Uncle dropped on her back. Is he okay? Kakashi looked over Naruto. Yes, he's fine. The curse mark stopped pulsing on her neck as it returned back to normal. As Uncle fell unconscious. Well, I have two to carry back now, he said. He looked around for any sign of Itachi, but there was none. Time skip, Konoha. Naruto wasn't as fine as Kakashi thought at all, as Naruto woke up after a long sleep. As he heard beeping of machines. Why was he always the one in the hospital? From a mission. As he felt someone holding on to his hand. As his finger twitched. The person seemed to wake up by that. Naruto could not open his eyes, the light was too bright. You're awake. As he heard the voice, it was Uncle. Yes, he said. His throat felt so parched. Every mission he had to be in the hospital, right? Why couldn't it be someone like it? Naruto's eyes widened before he had to shut them. Damn it, he cursed. The light. As you remember everything. It came back so quickly, Itachi. Good. We need to have a talk, Uncle said seriously. Itachi, Uncle finished his statement. He has become an S-rank missing in. But that's not important right now. Naruto flinched at that. How? Is that not important? Look, it's not important right now, she said. What is important is that you left the village without much of an excuse. At least in the Hokage eyes, she said. The place grew colder as Uncle could feel her anger rising every second. As she was glad that his eyes were closed because she would have saw all the hatred that he was currently looking at the world with right now. Listen to me, Naruto. Itachi was also my teammate. I know it hurt, but after 3 months, you get the hang of it. Wait, what? 3 months? Naruto tried to open his eyes. Once again, the light was too bright. Yeah, Uncle said, you were in a pretty bad shape with hypothermia, broken jaw, and a lot of other stuff. Oh, and your mother didn't kill me when she found out. Can we close the curtain, please, said Naruto. Uncle got up as she closed the curtains. as Naruto finally get to open his eyes. As Uncle looked at him. Hey, do you know that your eyes glow in the darkness, she said. As he looked at Uncle, who was wearing a blue dress that seemed rather formal for her, with the Senju symbol. Did his mother adopted Uncle? The thought was already proposed a long time ago when his mother had adopted him, but Uncle was too, well, prideful. She refused. She couldn't come to terms with calling Tsunade mother, and she preferred to remember her parents. Did you put on weight? Said Naruto. Uncle eyed twitch. You could say so, and guess whose fault it is? She moved closer to the bed and sat down right at his side. You know, the pill of the next day. Work when you take it the next day, she said. Not if you have to run for half a day to reach that stupid, gray-haired idiot. And another half of day of coming back. And also, it doesn't work if you forgot to take it because you were worried about that same gray-haired idiot dying. Well, you're the smart one. I'm not fat, she said, as she looked at him. I'm pregnant. Naruto's mind went empty. Truly empty, as he tried to understand what Uncle just said to him. Those two words, or maybe it was just one. I'm pregnant. No, it was two. His mind could even understand the words. Did she just say that she was pregnant? Her dress. Him being knocked out for 3 months, thinking that she was fat. It now made sense. If your next words are, what do we do? Or anything of the sort, I'm gonna neuter you, said Uncle. I'll make it easy. Your mother suggests that upon waking up, you would ask me a question made about 4 words, understood? Naruto slowly nodded before he whispered. Will you marry me? He said. Yes, and there it was done. Naruto did not know that he was now shackled to Konoha. Or better yet, become an entity, a chain entity, a prisoner of his own bonds. But he realized that marriage of age 14 was a bit unorthodox. But still, it was not far-fetched, especially for clan children. Good. At least the assassination attempts were worth it, Uncle said, with a chuckle. What are you talking about? Said Naruto. Well, you are the heir of a Senju clan, she said. So, know that I'm gonna be your wife when you get married. Well, guess who want me dead, she said. My fan club? Yeah, but I wouldn't call a bunch of barely made Jennings an assassination group, she said. I'm referring to the people that were planning to have their daughters married to you once you grow up. But it seems like I beat them to it, she said. You didn't plan this, said Naruto. It's not your fault, he told her. Ungo stood up as she turned her back on him. Yes, she said she did not show him her face. You better get well soon. You're a sucky boyfriend, you know that? 3 months and I've not even had a single date, she said, as she sniffed. Are you crying? Said Naruto. Damn hormones. That is what it is, Uncle said as she left the room. I'll go and get your mother, so maybe she will stop fondling you for me. As Uncle left the room, Naruto was there in darkness. Before he beat his thumb and summoned a small chameleon, warned Shimori and the others that I'm alive, said Naruto. I'm sure that she's gonna want to skin me alive for de-summoning her back then. Oh, and I'm gonna become a father. Do I get off the hook for that? The chameleon shook his head before poofing away, as Naruto was sure that Shimori didn't like that. She was like the stiff ant that did not let anything slip by. Not to mention 3 months of silence. She would probably kill him. Yes, she would. Then she would probably kill herself over it. She was like that, just completely loyal. Jeez, he thought to himself. A high-pitched sound could be heard as Tsunade entered the room with Shizune. Naruto-kun, thank God you're alright. Tsunade was already at his side scanning with her green hands over him, as Shizune was at his side as well, smiling. Mom, said Naruto. You did too. Stupid thing, she said. Firstly, you dashed off without telling me or Shizune. Do you know how worried we were, huh? He tried to apologize, but Tsunade shushed him. I do not want to hear it, young man. And not to mention you knocked up your other teammate? This just sounds like some trashy novel that Jiraiya would write. Naruto turned his head towards the window. 3, 2, 1. As soon as he reached 1, the curtain swung open. Sorry I'm late, said Jiraiya. Tsunade looked towards Naruto. How could he actually feel Jiraiya coming up here? It's been 2 years, you damn pervert, said Tsunade. Can you please close the window, Shizune, said Naruto, as she moved to close the window. But Naruto felt something strange, as Jiraiya did squirm at his position a bit. You can leave it open, you know. I'm just passing by once I heard that he was awake and all. As Naruto laughed, but there was no humor in his tone. What? Did you come to see your fail weapon? Said Naruto. Everyone went completely silent. Really? How long do you think it would take me? The time to become Jonin? Would you kill yourself off eventually? Were you wondering if I was smart enough to look through a bingo book? No, really, Hokage-sama. Since when did you decide to parade around as your sensei? I suppose you just want to keep a close look on me, right? Obviously, offering me up to the stone shinobis. Say loads of what your intentions were for me. Maybe I should have realized it sooner. Maybe I did, but I didn't want to realize and connect the dots. Snazzy was confused. Naruto, what are you talking about? Jiraiya is dead, said Naruto. Uncle Jiraiya died sealing Kyuubi into Katsumi, didn't he? The room went silent once again. Didn't he? Naruto shouted. We should speak of this in private, said Jiraiya. Drop your pathetic illusion of an excuse, Hokage-sama, said Naruto. Stop disrespecting the dead with such a shameful act. The transformation dropped, and the Hokage stood there. Minato? Said Snazzy. Did you speak with the Kyuubi? Said Minato. I didn't need to, said Naruto. The bingo book stated that Jiraiya of the Sannin is a proficient user in fire and earth release techniques. But the recent additions said that he's a lightning user now, and with techniques that were similar to yours. That was all though. I had 2 years to think how the Yang chakra could have been sealed into Katsumi through the iron seal. It was impossible. It would have teared through the seal in an instant. That is when my Fuinjutsu lessons caused me to realize only the Shikifun, the seal of a Shinigami, could hold that part of the Kyuubi. I recall a baby Katsumi in the hands of Jiraiya, a clone of Jiraiya when I fainted. My chakra coils already filled. He had to use the Shikifun, but he was already worn out by that time and he could not use the seal, could he? That is why her seal is weak and broken, right? How do... Naruto cut him off. Do not interrupt me. That was the reason she attacked me that night. The seal was broken and weak. And your wife, she thought that I was the one to blame and threw me out. Yeah, I can even understand your stupid reasoning now. You thought I was the menace, and you decided to drop me off somewhere else. But when you realize the truth, that it was split into half and half, you realize your mistake. So you tried to have me come back as a civilian, so no one will find out. As Naruto's eyes were looking at the man with rage. Well, guess what, you bastard, he said as Naruto's eyes glow blue, icy blue. Two can play that game. If I as much as hear anything going on against my family and my friends, or anyone under my protection, then I don't care what the council will do to your pitiful excuse of a family, but Katsumi will take the place that she was meant to have as a village in Julike. Except for missions that I will pick. I don't want to see your damn face until I take that hat. You weren't worthy of wearing that hat, said Naruto as he clenched his fist tight. Minato, how could you, said Snazzy in rage. The death of Jiraiya will remain an S-rank secret. If word of that comes out, his spine into work with. I am not a petty bastard, said Naruto. Like yourself. Who would damage a leaf? Like yourself. Now leave, said Naruto. Minato poofed away. After all, it was just a clone. The real one. The memory slammed into him as the man got up, jumping out of his seat. He looked towards the village, a startling look on his face. He took in deep breaths. So Naruto knew Jiraiya words that he left behind when he had performed the seal. All this time, Minato had thought that it was because of Naruto that the iron seal was failing. That is why he wanted to return a civilian, to have his chakra seal away, to him never using the fox power. But the words were of Kasumi. It was her. The seal that Jiraiya had placed on her, he wasn't able to finish it completely, and it was terribly weak. Seeing a toddler transform into a mini Kyuubi had made him flinch horribly. He had reinforced Katsumi's seal. But he then realized that Naruto was not the problem. All of them thought that he was. All of them thought that his seal was breaking and he was going berserk. But he realized that Jiraiya had split the Kyuubi into half. His fist slammed into the wall repeatedly. He shouldn't have gone to make sure that he was fine. Unlike the last time, that day when he had took Naruto out of the village. As Naruto did not even realize that he was in the village one moment The next when he woke up, he was far, far away in the hidden stone because Minato had teleported there, using disguise as Jiraiya. It was there that the chameleon had looked at him strangely because the chameleon had saw this strange illusion, and he told Naruto that it will teach him how to use transformation and see through them as well. And he was grateful that day that Naruto never found out, but he risked it again and now Naruto knew. As he realized that he never even asked important questions to Naruto, like what Itachi told him. It had been 3 months since the massacre of the Uchiha clan, where only Mikoto and her youngest son came out alive. 3 months in which Itachi had been branded a S-rank missing name. And he had met Jiraiya, who had warned him of Danzo's secret actions. Now Itachi was loyal to the Leaf, no doubt, as long as Minato could bring him Danzo's head eventually. However, Itachi's report on Naruto was worrying. Naruto was able to hold his own against him. Itachi was an Anvu, ranked shinobi. Naruto did not have the Kyuubi's chakra to use, because it feasts upon his, but still. He did not use that at all from what Itachi said in the report, and yet Naruto hold his own and he used Ice Release. Perhaps Itachi was confused. He will have to investigate. Meanwhile, as Shizune was trying to calm Tsunade down, she took several deep breaths. "We can pack things up and leave," she said. "With every mom," said Naruto. "Uncle Chan is pregnant. I have classes to teach. Neji will need someone to keep him out of trouble. Then there is Kakashi, who can't keep himself off alcohol and porn unless he has someone to speak to. And you have to take care of the hospital. There would have been numerous deaths if you hadn't been here with your expert medical teas. I can't be selfish like that, and neither can you, Mom," said Naruto. Tsunade took a deep breath. "Konoha always takes things from me. I should have just come back here when you were a fresh genin and taken you away from this place. And then, we would have gone gambling to the land of the moon. That is what I should have done," she said. "Then again, I thought that Jiraiya was still alive. I would have thought the same thing. And I can't believe Sensei didn't know." "He probably knew," said Naruto. "There that night together. With Orochimaru, he was there as well. But Orochimaru left before Minato could explain. So, only Jiji and the Hokage knew," said Naruto. "Seems that there's some visitor coming, Mom," said Naruto. "You wouldn't mind letting him in?" Tsunade looked at him. He was so much like her grand uncle, it was scary. Tobirama always managed to find him in a hide-and-seek game. His sensory ability was top-notch, and no one could ever find out the trick to it. But on the other hand, Naruto knew the trick to it perfectly, as Naruto had cleaned out the underground passageway, as he had taken away all the corpses. There was several eras. There was the Edo Tensei study, there was the Genjutsu, and there was also the sensory ability. The scroll read, "All has water. Just sense it in the right place." That was all that was there on the scroll. Tobirama was some kind of sadistic bastard because he never fully explained anything. He just made you have to work it out, just writing his words some cryptic way. It had taken Naruto a long time to perfectly control his chakra to the point where he was able to find out exactly what that meant. Through water, he could sense it all. In the flashback, that is exactly why Naruto knew that there was a certain Neji Hyuga who was waiting, worrying, with sweat running down his forehead, as he could sense Neji there. Neji bolted in the room once it was open. Shizune had to grab him from falling over as he hit the chair, seeing that room was dark. As she placed the boy down in the chair. "Sensei!" "Neji, calm down," said Naruto, as the boy took several deep breaths. "It has been 3 months, and I heard that you finally awoken," he said. "You know Sasuke?" Neji started to pour out everything. 3 months of not seeing or talking to Naruto, as Anko and Tsunade let them talk. "And also, there are rumors that Anko-san forced herself on you, Sensei. It's not true, right?" He had been here in the hospital, passing through, to see if Naruto was awake, and he had saw Anko and she told him the good news, and he just ran straight up here. "No," said Naruto. "She did not force herself on me," Neji said Naruto. He then chuckled a bit. "Did someone give you the talk?" "Keiyo-san did," said Neji. "Although, you did break a lot of hearts in your fan club. Ayam-san especially." "Yeah, I'm gonna have to speak to her," said Naruto. "She was sent away by her father to train in different cooking flavors or something like that," said Neji. As Naruto felt another pair of people coming. How much people did Anko tell? As Itachi and Mikoto was walking towards the hospital room, as they were coming to talk to him as well. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification say posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Became the God of Lightning over on Anime King, and enjoy that, guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.